Spring practice day 3. It's recap time. What's going on, Canes fans? Does anybody know what this is? Because it played a very important role at practice today. Well, not just one of them, 2 of them actually, but I've only got one. An oven mitt. But more on that in just a few minutes. Do me a quick favor and make sure that you are subscribed to this channel so you can stay up to date with spring football. I've been doing tons of videos and streams, and we've been having a lot of fun. So let's dive into day 3. I would say that one of the biggest stories coming out of practice today was the defensive backs basically wearing oven mitts during the one-on-one drills. Now, this is a picture of what they actually looked like, but my mind instantly went to oven mitts. And don't tell me that yours didn't do the same. And for all I know, maybe those are actual oven mitts, or maybe they make those and sell them for football teams to use. I don't know, but this was to prevent them from holding the receivers too much, because that has been a bit of an issue lately. The guys were also in shoulder pads today as they slowly worked their way up to full pads and full contact, but for today it was helmets, shoulder pads, and shorts. And there were also a little over 70 recruits today watching practice. You can see they broke out the army of Miami-themed golf carts to escort them around campus. And that first impression on how Miami operates during spring is super important. But since we started with the defense, let's just keep it going. The cornerback room is still super thin right now, as there's really only 4 guys that can play. With that being said, they are getting a little tired at times, which is understandable. I mean, there's literally only 4 of them. Guidry said that out of the new guys that have come in, Powell, the transfer from Washington, is probably playing the strongest at the moment. And just for future reference, instead of referring to him as Powell, I'm probably just going to call him Mish, because that's his nickname. His name is Michael Powell, but everybody calls him Mish. Mish rolls off the tongue a little bit easier. So for the rest of this video and the rest of the year, I'm just going to call him Mish. And this isn't surprising, because Mish has a lot of experience under his belt. He literally played in the national championship game with Washington. His biggest hurdle, honestly, will just be learning the system, which is something that any new guy coming in is going to have to do. He also mentioned that Harris is probably one of the most improved players on defense so far, and he's been playing safety and swapping in and out at times with Savion Riley. And let me tell you, there has been nothing but praise for Popo in that linebacker room. He's been taking most of the first team reps, and he's been making some big strides in spring so far. That is a big, strong linebacker. And I had to double check my notes, actually triple check, but defensive tackle C.J. Clark, the transfer from NC State, had a pick 6 today. And I'm really hoping and praying that somebody out there has a clip of it and they put it on the internet, kind of like they did with the Xavier Restrepo catch, because that is something that I need to see. C.J. Clark with a pick 6, whether it's at practice or not, I just need to see it. Now, Zaquan Patterson didn't have quite as good of a day today, but that's not necessarily taking a shot at him. It's not all around bad, but it just wasn't as impactful of a practice as the previous 2 have been for him. And Guidry also had a lot of praise for quarterback Cam Ward, because he believes that the looks he's giving the defense is only going to make them better. He said that he's so mobile and good at extending plays, so it really tests the defense and their discipline. Now, of course, we'll have to see if this continues once the pads are on. The media did ask today after practice if they plan on using Akeem Mesidor on the inside at all this season or during practice, but Guidry shut that down and said that they plan on keeping him on the outside as an edge rusher. Now, wrapping this thing up with the offense, as promised, Cam Ward did take all 18 offensive linemen out to an all-you-can-eat steak dinner last night. Leave a comment down below and let me know how much you think that was, because there's no way that was cheap. And he is a man of his word. He kept his promise. He said he was going to do it, and he did it. And I really feel like that's super important, because TVD, it's not that I'm just trying to throw shots, guys, but TVD really didn't do a whole lot of that. Like, he was buddies with Restrepo and a couple of other guys, but there wasn't a lot of communication there. There wasn't a lot of relationship building outside of what was forced by Mario and the staff. So it's really nice. To me, it's important to hang out outside of practice, because again, once you build those bonds and those relationships, you want to play for those guys. You look out for each other. So it's super important to me that he did this, and I'm happy that he kept his word. Now, most first-team reps on the O-line right now are Lou Cristobal at left guard, Jalen Rivers at left tackle, Zach Carpenter at center, Inez Cooper at right guard, and McCoy at right tackle. And again, the big one that just continues to shock people is Lou Cristobal at left guard. As we keep saying, time will tell. We'll see what happens. You have to remember that Miami has a lot of guys out right now due to injuries and waiting for some freshmen to come in that could take up some reps as well. So we'll see. I'm always happy to report that tight end Elijah Arroyo is still doing his thing out there, and he's starting to become one of Cam Ward's favorite targets in the tight end room. And at the wide receiver position, Restrepo is, of course, doing Restrepo things, making crazy, wild catches at practice, always consistent. And Mish said that Restrepo is very tough to defend. In the running back room, Chris Johnson continues to impress with his speed, and Andy Borregales, that's right, we're going to talk about the kicker for a moment. He said that his number one priority right now is just working on consistency with his kicking game. I'm hoping that in the future, here in the coming weeks, we can get him on the show again. We've had him on in the past, because I really want to get a feel for what a day is like for a kicker at spring practice. Everybody focuses on, the big names, the quarterbacks and the receivers, and how are the DBs looking, and what about the linebackers, but we don't talk about kickers and special teams very much. So I'll try to get him on here at some point so we can do a deep dive on that. Not much kickoff work yet, he said, but they're planning on tackling that when they get back from spring break. And as you might have noticed, the receivers going through this particular drill. It's been playing over on the right-hand side of your screen, but I'm going to pop it up here just in case you missed it. Does anybody know exactly what this drill is for? Me personally, I'm guessing that it's about high-pointing the ball and catching it over a defender, or maybe high-pointing the ball, catching it, securing it, and then falling in a way that either doesn't get you hurt or doesn't put the ball in danger, maybe? If you know specifically, let me know down in the comments. But it was creating a lot of buzz for some reason on social media over this drill specifically with the receivers. You see Kevin Beard here, working with them, and he's working miracles in that room. That's the number one position group that people continue to praise throughout spring so far is the wide receivers. Now, I always say, again, this should go without saying, but it's spring practice. Obviously, let's not get ahead of ourselves. And also, they're not in full pads, so there's not full contact yet. But it's still always nice to see guys doing well in practice. You hope that guys practicing well leads to them playing well in games. You have to just kind of hope that that happens. You'd rather it be that than them not practicing well, because then, the end result there is probably not good no matter what. But that's really it for day 3 of spring practice. Don't forget that there are no spring practices next week. Everybody's on spring break, but I will still be posting some videos and doing my regular Friday night live stream. But the next spring practice will take place on Tuesday, March 19th. So then, of course, it will really ramp back up then. But we'll try to do some stuff next week, just have some fun, do some hypotheticals, and still continue to talk about spring and some other things going on with the program. So leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Let's talk about it. I did ask some questions in this video, so we'll see who watched it all the way through. We'll see who actually answers some of those questions. But day 3, a wrap. Remember, though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family, but at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.